Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by again. And if this is your first time on the channel, you're definitely welcome. Do what to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that I get to see more of my content. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this two-piece top and short. And without further ado, let's get started. So right here guys, this is the material that we're going to use for this tutorial, and this is an African print popularly called Ankara. All right, and I use 3 yards of this African print. Also, you are going to need an elastic band for this tutorial, and I'll be making use of this one. If you have this other one, this 1-inch elastic, you can also make use of it. All right, but I'll be making use of this wide one that is about 2 inches. And right now we're going to go ahead and start working on the top parts. All right, and right here, as you can see, the fabric is on fold. And to get started, the first measurement you need is from your center back to your sleeve length. All right, so place your tape rule at the center of your back and towards your sleeve length. All right, and for me, what I have is 28 inches. All right, and I'll add 2 inches to that to make 30 inches. Okay. And so right now, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and come to the start line, and we are going to mark out 30 inches. All right, and I'm going to indicate that here. And having done that, I'll go ahead and create the neckline, and I'll be using the width of 3 inches and the depth of 3 inches, all right, for the front neckline. And I'm just going to go ahead and connect the point together to create our round neckline. And also for the back, I'm going to come down by 1.5, then link it to create the back neckline. And right now I'll come to this part, and I'm going to come down by 1 inch, and I'm going to be linking that point to the neckline, all right, in order to create our shoulder slope. And having done that, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and indicate our vertical lines. All right, starting from the bust point, I'll go ahead and indicate with a straight line across like so. All right, and having done that, I'm going to go ahead and indicate the top length. And for the top length, I'm going to be using 19 inches. You can use any length of your choice, but for this tutorial I'll be using 19 inches, and I'm going to be adding 2 inches for folding allowance. And having done that, the next thing to do is to go ahead and create our sleeve opening. So I'm going to come to this part, and I'm going to come down by 10 inches. And I'll just go ahead and connect the point together on a straight line like so. And having done that, the next thing to do is to come to the bust point right here, and we're going to impute quarter of our bust round. All right, and we're going to indicate that here, and I'm going to be adding 2 inches extra to it. All right, 1.5 inches is for ease allowance, and ½ inch is for seam allowance, making 2 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to indicate 2 inches here, and I'm going to extend this point to the top length. And right now, the next thing to do is to go ahead and extend this bust line. We're going to extend it to touch the sleeve opening like so. All right, and having done that, I'll just go ahead and create a curve around the armhole like so. And having done that, we can now go ahead and cut out our pattern. While cutting, I'll go ahead and add ½ inch allowance to the shoulder line. And right now, this is what our pattern looks like, and the next thing to do is just to go ahead and use it to cut another piece so that we have both the front and the back piece. And that's exactly what we have here. And right here, this one, this is the back piece, and I'll use the second piece for the front piece. And I'll go ahead and cut the front neckline. And right now we're going to create slit on the front neckline, so I'm going to come down by 4 inches. All right, and having done that, I'm going to slit it open. And right now, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and cut facing for both the front piece and the back piece. All right, I'm going to get these pieces, and I'm going to use it to cut facing for both of them. And having done that, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and place our facing on the neckline, and we're going to be stitching it down. And that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to stitch the facing to the neckline, and this is the front piece. I also repeated the same thing to the back piece. And now the next thing to do is just to go ahead and align both the front piece and the back piece together, right side facing right side. And having done that, I'm going to come here and I'm going to use the facing to sandwich both the piece like so, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and stitch it all the way down, all right? I'm going to repeat the same process to the other side also. And having done that, I'm going to come to this side and also stitch with 1/2 inch. And here, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to stitch the shoulder and also the side, as you can see. All right, and now I'll just go ahead and notch this curved part so that it relaxes well. And I'm going to repeat the same process to the other side. And having done that, I went ahead to turn the top to the right side, and this is what it looks like. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and fold the hem of our sleeve. And having done that, we're also going to fold the hem of the top. And right here, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to fold and stitch the hem of the sleeves. And right here on the top length, I also went ahead to fold it, and instead of stitching it, I went ahead to iron hemming gum on it. This is totally optional. You can just go ahead, fold it and stitch it, all right? And right here, our top is ready. So right now, we can go ahead and work on our shorts. And right here, guys, I have this fabric on fold, and to know the amount of fabrics that you need, all you need to do is just to go ahead and divide your hip by 4, and you are going to add about 6 to 8 inches to that, all right? And to start drafting, guys, I have the start line right here, and it's also going to serve for the waist line, okay? And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and indicate the crotch depth, all right? But before I do that, I'm going to be using a band for this trouser, a band of 2 inches. So I'm going to place my tape measure in a way that I have 2 inches outward like so, okay? And the next thing to do is to indicate the crotch depth. And because we are making a baggy short, all right, I'm going to be adding about 1 to 2 inches to the crotch depth for ease, all right? And to get my crotch depth, I'll just go ahead and divide my hip by 4, and that is going to give me around 10.5, okay, 10.5. And I'm going to be adding 1.5 for ease. You can either add 1.5 or even 2 inches for ease. So I added 1.5, and that is going to give me 12 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate 12 inches right here for my crotch depth. And up next, we are going to go ahead and indicate our desired length for our short, all right? And for me, I'll be using 15 inches for the length of the short, and I'll just go ahead and indicate that with a straight line like so. And having done that, I'm going to also add folding allowance of 2 inches to that. And I'll go ahead and cut out the excess. And having done that, the next thing to do is to come to the crotch depth here, and we're going to impute quarter of our hip circumference, which I just indicated there. And next, I'm going to be adding 2 inches to that, all right? You can add more than 2 inches. It all depends on how big you want your short to be. But here, I added 2 inches, and I just indicated that here. And whatever I have on the crotch line here, I'm also going to duplicate on the waist line like so. And having done that, I'm going to link both points together on a straight line like so. And right now, the next thing to do is to go ahead and get your crotch extension. And to do this, just go ahead and divide your hip by 16. And whatever value you get, that is your crotch extension. For mine, I have 2.6. So I'm going to indicate that here on the crotch line. And having done that, I'll just go ahead and create a curve around the crotch like so. And right from this crotch extension, we're going to extend it to the trouser length, all right, like so. And so that the hem of the trouser is not too big, we can just go ahead and come to the hem here, and we're going to minus 1 inch from what we have on the hem. And what I just did here is totally optional. And right about now, guys, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and cut out our pattern. And on the waist area here, I'm going to leave 1/2 inch for joining allowance. And right now that we have our front piece, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and cut the back piece. All right, so here I have the material for the back piece, and I'm going to be placing the front piece on the back piece like so. So right here, I've gone ahead to place the front piece on the back piece like so. And the next thing to do is to go ahead and get the hip line, all right? And I'm just going to indicate with a straight line across like so. And then I will extend the hip line to the back piece, all right, and on the crotch line I will do the same. Then I'll come to the waistline and also extend it to the back piece like so, all right. And up next I'll come to the waistline and I'm going to extend it by 2 inches like so. I'm going to mark a straight line to connect that 2 inches like this, all right. And the next thing to do is just to come to the hip line and you are going to also extend it by 2 inches, all right. And on the crotch length we are going to extend the crotch extension by the same value we use for the front, all right, which is 2.6, and I just did that here, all right. And the next thing to do is just to connect from the hip line to the crotch line like so, all right. And right from this part we're going to connect to the waistline like so. And having done that, we are going to come to the waistline here and we are going to connect it in a slant manner to the side like so. And having done that, I'll come to this side here and I'm going to mark 2 inches outward like so, all right. And having done that, I'll connect it to the crotch extension. And having done that, I'll just go ahead and cut open both the front piece and the back piece. And right here, I will remove the front piece from the back piece. Then I'll go ahead and cut out the pattern. And having done that, we have both our front and the back piece ready, all right. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and cut out a pocket piece for this short. So right here, I'm going to use this piece of fabrics for the pocket and I'm going to place my hand inside it like so. And I'm just going to chalk out the shape of a pocket, all right, on this material. And the next thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and cut out the shape. And right now, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and stitch our crotch together. So right here on the front piece, I'm going to be stitching 1/2 inch on the crotch area like so. And I'm going to repeat the same process to the back piece. And right here, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to join the crotch for the front and also the back. And right now I'm going to place both the front piece and the back piece together like so, all right. And I'm going to measure 1 inch downward from the waistline. I'm going to indicate that here, and the next thing I'm going to do is just to go ahead and notch it, all right. And that is where our pocket is going to start from. And right now, just go ahead and open up one of the trouser piece like so, all right. And I'm going to go ahead and place the pocket piece right side facing right side on the trouser piece, okay. We are going to go ahead and stitch this pocket to the trouser like so, all right. I'm going to place the second one on the other side like so, and we are going to repeat the same process. And whatever we do for this piece, we are going to repeat on this other one. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to stitch the pocket to the trouser piece, and I also went ahead to top stitch, and I repeated the same process to the other side here. And whatever I did for this one, I also did for the other piece, as you can see right here. And right now, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and align both pieces together, all right, like so. And the next thing we are going to do is just to go ahead and stitch with 1/2 inch all the way around like so. And after stitching one side, we are going to also go ahead and align the second part, and we are going to repeat the same process. And right here, guys, I've gone ahead to do just that. I've stitched the side here, and I've also repeated the same process to the other side here, all right. And right now, the next thing to do is to come to this part here, which is the inseam, all right. And we are going to go ahead and align both the front crotch and the back crotch together. Then we are going to go ahead and stitch it down. And right here, that's exactly what I've done, all right. And the next thing to do is just to go ahead and turn the trouser to the right side, and we're going to go ahead and measure what we have around the waist of the trouser. And for mine, I have around 45 inches. So I'm going to use this 45 inches to cut out the band for the trouser. And that's exactly what I've done here. Here is the band and it is 46 inches long. All right. I added 1 inch to that 45 inches for the waist. All right. And the wideness of this band is actually 5 inches. And the next thing to do is to go ahead and iron the band on equal fold like so, all right? And having done that, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and fold one end of the band like so. And right now, the next thing to do is to get the center point, okay? So I'm going to fold the band into two like so, and I'm going to notch the center point of the band, all right? I'm notching that part where we didn't fold, okay? And right here, I'm just highlighting the center point of the band, all right? And right here on the part where we folded on this band, that is where we are going to be creating our hole, all right, for our rope to pass through. And in order to do this, I'll come outward from the center point by 1 inch and I'll note it like so, all right? And I'll do the same for the other part like so. I will note it with a chalk here like so. And like I said earlier, this part where we chalk out, we are going to be creating a hole there, all right? You can go ahead and use an eyelet to create a hole there, or you create a button hole, or just go ahead and create hole on those points, okay? For me, I will just go ahead and use a soldering iron to create a hole on those 2 points. So right here, my soldering iron is hot already, so I used it to poke a hole on this piece of fabrics, and I'm going to repeat the same on this point that we marked out. And right here, we have 2 holes for our rope to pass through. So right now, the next thing we need to do is to connect both ends of our band, and I've gone ahead to do this. I've stitched it on this side, all right? And the next thing to do is just to fold the band again, and we are going to be joining it to our trouser, all right? On this part of the band where we didn't fold, I'm going to go ahead and align it to the wrong side of the trouser, okay? I'm going to pin it all around, and we are going to go ahead and stitch it. So right here, guys, I've gone ahead to stitch the band on the wrong side of the trouser right here. And the next thing to do is to go ahead and top stitch the folded part of the band on the right side of the trouser, okay? So I'm going to pin it all around and I'm going to stitch it. And right here, guys, that's exactly what I've done. I've gone ahead to top stitch the band on the trouser, okay? And right here on the back, I left an opening of about 2 inches for our elastic band to pass through. And for the elastic band, I went ahead to just deduct about 6 inches from my actual waist measurement, all right? And that is what I have here for the band. And next, I'm going to get a safety pin and I'm going to insert the elastic band into the band of the trouser. And after passing the band through to the other end, we are going to go ahead and overlay both of the band like so, and we are going to top stitch on the band. And after top stitching both ends of the elastic band, the next thing we need to do is just to go ahead and close this opening right here. So right now, I'll just go ahead and close the opening. And right now, having done that, the next thing to do is to come to the top of the band like so. I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch and stitch it all around, all right? And also, I'm going to come to the bottom of the band like so and also stitch 1/2 inch all around. I hope that's understandable. And because there's an elastic band inside the band of the trouser, you are going to pull along as you sew. And after top stitching on the band, this is what we have, all right? And the next thing to do is to go ahead and pass in our rope via the hole we made earlier on. And right here, after passing the rope, I'll make sure that both sides of the rope are of equal proportion, okay? And the next thing to do to this trouser is just to go ahead and hem in the bottom part of the trouser. And that's exactly what I've done here, and our short is ready. And right here, this is our two-piece set. Thanks so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you in my next video.